¿Qué tal, amigos? Welcome back to another edition of LatiNation Football Club, and I'm so excited because this weekend is so full of the highest level of football that we have seen in a long time. I'm excited, I'm ecstatic, but not only for that, because also we have a full house. The full team is back here in LatiNation Football Club. Chiva, Nik, I'm so happy to have the whole gang ready to discuss these amazing games. Nik, welcome back from your long travels to Europe. How it all went down?
It was amazing, but hey, I'm glad to be back. Hey, what a time to be watching soccer. Domestic leagues heating up. Continental finals are here. International summer calendars is getting stacked up. I mean, this is just my favorite time when things line up like this. So I'm excited to be back.
And Nik, I gotta congratulate you because your prediction of Inter de Milan making it to the final of the Champions League became true. And now let's go with my good friend Chiva, which is now, I'm guessing, preparing that vocal cords for the massive game that he will be facing along the LAFC this Saturday against las Águilas del América. Mi amigo Chiva, ¿cómo estás?
Hey, feliz, contento, super happy to have the whole crew together. And man, excited about the weekend. You know, besides obviously the LFC America game, Champions League, Concacaf Champions final on Sunday. I mean, we got everything here in LatiNation Football Club, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
Well, no nos tardemos más. Estos chicharrones tienen que tronar. Let's go and talk about the biggest club game in the season. We are talking about the final, la gran final of the Champions League, straight from Munich. We have Paris Saint-Germain, the eternal candidate, finally looking for their first Continental Cup, versus Internacional de Milan, a team that had a great season but couldn't achieve the level of success that they were looking for. Let's go with Nik first. How does it feel to know that you had the right instinct and now your team is straight up in the final looking at get another international title after almost a decade?
Oh my God. I mean, it's exciting. I saw something in them that just the kind of spark that wasn't there with other teams, and I kind of ran with it. And look, a little luck helps me out too, but maybe ask me that again after the finals, and we'll see how right I was.
It's gonna be a crazy game. Now, Chiva, talk to me about a little bit about Paris Saint-Germain. What do you think they need to do in order to defeat the Italian team?
Look, the good thing about the finals is just one game. So they have to have zero mistakes. I think that at the end of the day, if they're managed to be able to attack the right way Inter Milan, they're gonna come out successful. I think this is gonna be it for PSG. I think this is their moment. And without the superstars, they're finally gonna get their Champions League that they're looking for. That's my take.
I think that there's gonna be a winner on the 90 minutes. I think it's gonna be Paris Saint-Germain. I think that they are the hottest team. I think their momentum. I think Inter had a difficult end to their season, so that might play a factor, but they also are thirsty for vengeance and to get that success. Nik, what is your score prediction for this game?
I'm going 2-1 Inter Milan. And I'm putting my money on Inter Milan mainly for one reason. So under Inzaghi, they come with sort of this wealth of experience in this tournament. They've been here before. They've won this before. And so I think when you combine that with Inter's sort of defensive record, their balanced attack, I think they're just going to overcome PSG. They're going to overwhelm them. I mean, Lautaro Martinez has been absolutely genius for them up front. And Thuram has kind of been complimenting him. 4 goals in the competition for him as well. And so I just see Inter Milan as having it in the bag just because of their experience. If we look at this through a historical context, we're marking PSG's second appearance in the Champions League finals, having lost to Bayern Munich, I believe it was in 2020. Milan coming in looking for their 4th European title. Previous victories go back to like the 60s, but more recently, as well in 2010 and beyond. So this is nothing to sneeze at either. This is a big thing, just with less pressure. So I'm still going with Inter.
So this Saturday, my friends, at noon here, PST, we'll be seeing some of the best high-level soccer of all season long. Paris Saint-Germain facing Internacional de Milan, straight from Munich. And now we move on in this show to something closer to home. A playoff game, a play-in game that is going to be the most important game in LAFC history. America, an opportunity to sacarse la espinita from losing the final against Toluca. Chiva, let's go with you first. Why is this game so important for the legacy of LAFC?
I mean, it's opening the door for your team to internationally be known, to play against Chelsea, Flamengo. I mean, the Club World Cup, it's huge for not just for LFC, for America as well. We talked about it last week. For America, they're criticized that they're a team that they're a local team. Like when it comes to internationally, they don't do that much. So for both of them, it's a great opportunity. For LAFC, the most important game in their history. This is a final that they have to win to stay here at home and be part of this amazing World Cup club that is gonna take over during the summer here in the United States.
Starting June 14th, the Club World Cup here in the United States and America and LAFC are fighting for the last spot, vacated by el Club León after being disqualified from the competition for being owned by the same investment group than Pachuca. And now we're going to see fireworks this weekend here in Los Angeles BMO Stadium. Nik, do you think America has the seniority over LAFC? We've seen in the past that Cherundolo, the coach, has faltered and failed when it comes to big games. When it matters the most, Cherundolo has not been able to have the tools, the ideas, and the reactions needed to win the championship games and the important elimination games. Do you think this night will be different for the black and gold?
This is America's to win. They're comfortable in this space, and this is more than about just bragging rights. As Chiva mentioned, this is a ticket to the FIFA World Cup. This is huge. Both of them are going to want this, but I think America has a little bit more confidence coming into this. But hey, that could work against them as well. That can kind of give LAFC a sort of spark and a push that it really needs to get on that international stage and establish themselves as a kind of a world-class club. Like America's had more time, more pedigree, more experience, just more history in general. It's LAFC's turn. Can they do it? Yes. It's going to be tough, though, given that what America has already built in this time. And they just look so good. But again, we'll have to see. They can make it happen. It's up to America now.
That's right, Nik. I think that this weekend we'll see an encounter between the momentum of America that is just off playing at the highest level, the final of the Mexican tournament, versus LAFC that is struggling to get a convincing momentum within MLS. Now, Chiva, please talk to me. How do you see the internal functioning of the team, the lineup that you might imagine Cherundolo will display against what America showed in the final and the playoffs of Liga MX?
I'm a big believer that regardless of the coach who's on the bench, I think that the players, which is very important to understand the what this game means to the city, to the franchise, to the legacy of this club. And knowing that, I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to listen to Cherundolo if he doesn't do the right thing, but I do know that they're going to put their best out there, their best performance to win. Now, what do I want to see? I want to see the LAFC that plays with a 4-3-3, not the one that drop back. With America, you give them space, you drop back, you wait for them, and they're going to kill you. They're like Miami. They know how to score goals for sure. So I'm expecting a 4-3-3, a team that is going to come out there and he says 2-2 versus America. And you look, America, their defense is not as strong as everybody thinks. Same thing with the LAFC, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who score more goals. And I believe on our players. I think that regardless of Cherundolo and the tactics, I think that they understand what they're playing for. And that's what I love. It reminds me a lot of the final versus Philadelphia, that at the end of the day, strategically, he didn't do the right thing, but the players came out and won the championship for the city.
That's right, Chiva. And that is not the only important game in CONCACAF this weekend. We will also witness the grand finale of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. We are talking about Vancouver Whitecaps, the hottest team in MLS right now, facing Cruz Azul, who made it all the way to the semifinals in Liga MX, but was eliminated by America. They are thirsty to get one trophy this season and make the season count. But we'll have all the details when we come back here in LatiNation Football Club. I'm your host, Marcelino Ortiz, and we'll be right back.
No, we're
Have
not.
some fun?
No, if the
What do
Knicks
you
are losing,
mean?
I'm gonna be miserable.
Be fine.
I'm gonna be miserable. Like, really? You know what? I'm saying Knicks are winning tomorrow.
Oh.
Fuck it. Here we go. Knicks are winning tomorrow. See that guy? No, that's the wrong guy. See that guy? See him? He's over his assist prop. Jalen Brunson. He's going over his assist prop.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Skubal again. Skubal's winning the Cy Young, no shot for Fried.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Like every single category, Fried is right there with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Face. He's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? We are back here in LatiNation Football Club, and it is time to talk about the Concacaf Champions Final. That's right, Vancouver versus Cruz Azul. Hoping that Cruz Azul don't Cruz Azulearla otra vez in this final. Their chance to an only trophy. And on the other side of the equation, we have Vancouver, the hottest team in MLS, trying to have a Cinderella run to win this tournament for the first time in their history. Cruz Azul is going for their 9th title to tie America as the most winning team of this competition. And that's why I have Nik Z and El Chiva Mayor that have been following this tournament closely alongside me and bring you our best prediction. Chiva, what do you think is going to happen between these two powerhouses of their respective leagues?
Look, man, Vancouver has been looking so good. You know, it's not we all thought at the beginning they're having a good run. You know, they're gonna get tired. They're still in first place in the MLS. They're still not losing games, even though they have tied a couple of games along the way. I honestly see them very strong, very convinced of winning this Concacaf Champions for MLS and for Canada. But then on the other hand, I also see a Cruz Azul that is hurt. Their fans, you know, America again, one more time, eliminated Cruz Azul. And the Liguilla, I said it, since 1999, Cruz Azul hasn't been able to beat America in la Liga MX Liguilla. So Cruz Azul, you know, they're angry, and they really want this cup to at least have a decent close of a tournament. To be honest with you, I just see Vancouver taking the cup.
One of the strengths of Vancouver this season has been their ability to rotate their squad to show the depth and still get results. That was proved this last Wednesday when they were playing with a bunch of subs and they still got the result. Nick, what is your prediction for this game?
I have to say I agree. I mean, yes, Cruz Azul is coming in here with a wealth of experience and a very formidable home record. After all, they're playing in Mexico City, you know, so they're going to have more Mexicans than USA MLS fans in the stands. Is going to feel more like a home game for them, obviously. But, you know, Vancouver's momentum, their tactical flexibility, I think they're also, if we look back, their recent success against other Mexican teams, I think suggests that I think they're more than well equipped to challenge for the title here. I mean, this is huge. Whitecaps, this is like truly an amazing underdog story that we're watching, not only in the MLS, but in tournaments like this. They're making their first appearance in this cup final, and this is historic for them. It's a historic moment for the club, and they're just on this really impressive run, defeating teams like Monterrey, Inter Miami to reach this stage. So they've really fought to get here, and I can only see that momentum continuing on through. And so whatever happens, the Whitecaps are making history for themselves right now as a club, and I think that's great.
I agree, Nick. This is a proof that the competition that has been growing between the two leagues is better than ever. And this is a great segue to talk about two other tournaments that will have MLS and Liga MX participants. I'm talking first about the Club World Cup and the Leagues Cup. These two tournaments are going to happen this summer. I'm very excited. Chiba, Nick, what are your predictions? What do you think we're going to see during the Leagues Cup? Do you think that this is going to be the tournament the MLS really takes advantage of this home field situation that happens every year?
You know what, man? I'm very excited. I think we're going to see a little slow tournament when it comes to the Club World Cup. It's going to start, not a lot of people in the stands. That's what I see. But the more that it moves on, it's just going to get better and better and better. It's going to take us to those games that are at the level of Champions League, at the level of those type of games. And then we also got Copa Oro that is, it's a tournament that Mexico and the U.S. are taking advantage to see more players. They're not bringing their A squads. I think they're trying to get their team together. The World Cup is next year. They don't have official tournaments. They're already qualified, so they're gonna take this Copa Oro as como una punching bag to be ready for the World Cup. And I love to see new names. People taking a break. For example, in the U.S., Mateo Chavez in Mexico. So very excited, man. It's gonna be an exciting summer of soccer for all of us.
I love that you brought the Copa de Oro for two reasons. First, because I want to pay a little homage to my Capitan Carlos Vela on his recent retirement. Thank you so much for 5+ years of amazing and exciting football. We salute you. And after almost 20 years of being the most underrated Mexican player, he retires and we wish him the best. He remains an LAFC ambassador. Nick, let's talk for a moment of what you think the Club World Cup will do for the fandom in the US. This is a very important part of the tournament. I think this is what is warming up the interest of the casual US fan towards the World Cup. So talk to me, what do you think this is going to bring to the US fandom?
Okay, so obviously the more MLS teams that can jump in, the better. That's gonna help out with those local fans. But if we zoom out, we have big clubs, Manchester City, Real Madrid, you name it, coming to play. And you see the kind of fans that show up when these are exhibition matches over the summer, like those, for fun matches, I want to say, like the world tours that these squads do to like get some cash and like, get some notoriety around the world. But when you see that in a competitive setting in these US stadiums, I think it's going to help so much just for the game. You're opening people's eyes up to the beautiful game, showing them how beautiful it is if they're not already fans. So it can only help. And I think it's really important. And it'll also give us, like we said, like a little bit of a preview into what the World Cup kind of vibes are going to be. Nothing can match that, but it's a little sneak peek, I think, a little window into how we'll manage the tournament and how things could look at the stadiums themselves. Because if you ask me, one really important thing about these tournaments is the energy that the fans bring, the buzz that's in the air. Sometimes we might lack a little bit of that in this country just because this isn't our main sport. It's not our second main sport or our third, maybe our third, I don't know. But, the more energy, the more buzz it's in the air, I think the better. And this can only help seeing big names, big teams come in and play in front of, some local teams as well. That's awesome.
Big rumors around this tournament, maybe Cristiano Ronaldo coming as reinforcement to some of the qualifying teams. Let's remember that all the teams that will be playing in this tournament will have a 30-day special window designated by FIFA to get some players to play exclusively on this tournament. So we might see some strange loans, but exciting players joining the tournament. That's right, and that's why in the upcoming weeks we will bring in you a lot of details and a lot of information on how to enjoy this tournament to the max, along with the rest of the summer of soccer that we'll be enjoying. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the National Women's Soccer League and all the international games that come on the women's side. So don't go anywhere. I'm Marcelino Ortiz, and I'll be right back here in LatiNation Futbol Club.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series where they rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? We are back here in LatiNation Football Club, and it is time to talk about the National Women's Soccer League, the Concacaf W Championship, and the slate of international games that will be happening on the women's game. And that's why we have our very own Camila Ortiz. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Camila, great t-shirt, Colo Colo, a legendary team from Chile, and I'm sporting my Carlos Vela because we are celebrating El Capitán de Black and Gold that just retired. But let's talk about one of the games that had the most goals of the match day, and that is Orlando versus Utah. Talk to me. How did this game went down? What are your highlights?
That was a super exciting game. I saw tons of energy from Orlando, specifically from Banda. I mean, she got a hat trick. She is now currently tied with Esther Gonzalez for the most goals scored this season. I think she's doing a phenomenal job up top, as seen with the hat trick. Again, I just saw a lot of cohesiveness and teamwork in the front lines. I think the attack was incredibly strong, and it showed up in their performance ultimately.
Orlando has such an stacked team. Just having Banda and Marta in the same team, plus some other Brazilian players that we'll be seeing this weekend with their national team. But before we move on to those games, let's talk about another exciting game that happened. Tell me, how is San Diego faring this weekend?
I mean, they did great. They got that 5-2 win over North Carolina Courage, and I love an underdog. San Diego Wave started off a little bit rocky, and now we are starting to see some consistency. I think we mentioned this last week, but San Diego Wave has extended their winning streak. Again, they are undefeated currently. I love this momentum that they are holding on to, and it's showing up because they've held on to second place in the standings for 2 or 3 weeks in a row now.
Camila, we also had an amazing game last weekend. We are talking about the final of the CONCACAF W Championship, this tournament that has the best teams of the region. And the final was Gotham versus Tigres, one of the powerhouses of Mexican soccer. Camila, tell me about this game.
This was a brutal game. I mean, it was no easy feat for either of the teams. We saw Tigres, their keeper was just relentlessly defending their goal, but ultimately Gonzalez with Gotham was able to get a last-minute goal. And it was, again, an intense game. You could tell that both of these teams desperately wanted the win, but Gotham just came out on top, ultimately representing the NWSL as a powerhouse in women's soccer.
You know, the pedigree that the U.S. has in the women's game is incredible, but the Mexican teams are quickly becoming some of the most powerful teams in the region and producing a lot of players that we are now seeing transferring to the National Women's Soccer League. And speaking about international movement, what can we expect coming up this weekend? Because I know we have some amazing international games. Talk to me.
You can expect to see some incredibly dynamic movement. I mean, these are the top players for every national team. They are coming from all over different leagues, Division I schools. So many of all of our beloved favorite teams are playing this weekend. You have the United States, you have Brazil, you have China, Argentina. I mean, it is going to be a jam-packed weekend full of incredible and exciting soccer.
And so what is your prediction for the Mexico versus Uruguay game?
I'm going to have to go with Mexico. I think they have a notoriously strong team. They are just getting stronger by the year. You know, they have some incredible players coming from all different leagues, especially, you know, also some D1 schools. So I'm going to have to go with them right now.
Another game that I'm really excited to watch, Camila, is Japan versus Brazil. These two powerhouses. We know the Japanese team in the women division is one of the strongest, most aggressive teams. And Brazil, la magia del jogo bonito. What is your prediction?
That's a tough question. I mean, both of these teams are incredibly strong. Both have been World Cup winners. I'm going to have to go with Japan, honestly, on this one. I think they have a very refreshing young team. And I think, you know, they showed that they were incredibly strong during the last Women's World Cup. And I think that that momentum will continue into these friendlies.
Camila, and then we round up our report with one of the most interesting games for the U.S. audiences, the U.S. national women team versus China. What is your prediction?
I'm going to have to go U.S. I think they have a ton of talent in the back burner. So much talent coming from the NWSL, which we have been covering throughout the entire season. I'm super excited for this game. I encourage everybody to tune in. I think it's going to be super exciting. And I think both of these teams are going to have to give it their 100% to come out on top.
Now, Camila, after this amazing report and these accurate predictions we'll see next week, I have to ask you the final question before we finish our show today. LAFC or America?
LAFC. I don't even have to think about it.
And with that, we thank you for your report. As always, excellent insight. We'll see you next week after all of these amazing games. And you at home, our MVP, thank you for choosing to be with us, spending this time with the LatiNation Football Club. And we'll be here next week with the very best football, news, and despapalle that you can find on TV. I'm your host, Marcelino Ortiz, and I'll see you next week.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scoogle again. Scoogle's winning the Cy Young, no shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything, like every single category. Freed is right there with him.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.